Okay, welcome to Polly's and Rats. Getting ready for our Delta Math assignment. I have my class in front of me, so it's going to probably feel a little bit weird because I feel weird. So it's probably not going to feel weird for you all at all. All right, so here we go. What I'm going to do is let's switch over to Delta Math, and we're just going to fly through each one, and you all ask me questions if you have questions. All right, so the first one, it's talking about terminology. It says, what's the leading coefficient? They're trying to trick us here because this polynomial is not set up in descending order, right? So we've got to hunt down the highest power, the term with the highest power, that's x to the fifth, right? And so what's the coefficient in front of x to the fifth? 1. That's right. All right. Let's go back. Let's do the next one. This asks for the y-intercept. So did we have a y-intercept? Did we talk about that in the other video? No? We didn't talk about the y-intercept? Okay. So the y-intercept is wherever x is equal to 0. So if x doesn't move at all, right, it stays right there on the origin, then the y-intercept is going to be whatever the value of y is. So if we plug 0 in for x, to this, you see that we have that -6 left over? That's going to be our y-intercept. Another way to consider it when you're looking at polynomials, whatever our constant is, and the -6 is the only term without the variable, that's going to be our y-intercept, all right? So once again, we're just going over things that you're going to see on your test. So you all in front of me, ask questions if you have any questions. All right, do another terminology. Let's see what this one is. The y-intercept. Okay. So do we see a constant here? No. If we plug 0 in, we're going to get 0. And that means that's what our y-intercept is, 0. All right? They just didn't have the plus 0 because that would look funny, right? Okay. Let's go back. And the last one, let's see what this one is. What is the degree? So it's asking us to find the highest power, and that's our polynomial degree. That's the degree of our polynomial. So our highest power is 4. So our degree is 4. All right. We good so far? You'd stop me if you have questions, right? Okay, so find x-intercepts in unfactored form. All right. We're going to have to factor by grouping with this one, and that's why I wanted to go over it real quickly. So finding the x-intercepts, once again, like the y-intercepts, we plugged in 0 for x. But the x-intercepts, we plug in 0 for y. So if we plug in 0 for y, let's take this out and plug in 0 for y. We can see we're going to have to factor by grouping, right? So let's go ahead, let's group these first two together and these last two together. Okay, so what's the biggest thing I can factor out from here? A 2 and a x squared, right? And what's left? We've got an x plus a 4. Now we know whatever we factor out here, we better end up with another x plus 4, or else we did it wrong. So see the minus? That tells me I'm going to factor out a minus. So the biggest number is what, an 8? Uh-oh. Oh, this should be a 2. This should be a 2. All right, since I'm sick, you got to catch my brain mistakes. Well, I'm going to blame it on my brain because, okay. So we're going to factor out an 8, and then we'll have the x plus 2. So we're good. So now we're down to this term and this term. And we factor out what's in common. Both of the terms have x plus 2. So we've got x plus 2. And then what's left over, my 2x squared, and my minus 8. Okay, so we take this, and we have to remember, we have set this equal to 0 to find our x-intercepts, all right? So now we have two things, right? We have something times something equals 0. So either x plus 2 equals 0, or 2x squared minus 8 equals 0, and let's just solve them. Here we've got x equals -2, so that's one of our, I almost wrote it down here, I got to type it in. That's one of our zeros, and then here we're going to add the 8, right? Divide by 2, take the square root of both sides, so we're going to get plus or minus 2. So we have 3, well, We already got the x minus 2 here, and look, it happened again. We know that means, right, we have a multiplicity there. If we have 2x equals negative 2, what is it going to do there on the x-axis? What does the graph do? If you're even, you're going to bounce. We bounce when we're even. We're at odds. We're cross when we're at odds. Thank you. Right? That was in the other video, right? Okay. So we're only going to write, we'll hit the plus or minus. Oh, gosh. We'll hit the plus or minus. We'll hit the 2, and we hope for the green arrow. Oh, gosh. I can't pick the green. I can't push it. Let's see. Yay, we got it. Yes. Yeah, anytime, that's a really good question. The only time I'm going to pull out a greatest factor, I mean, let's say I had just this part, like a quadratic. I would still pull out that 4 and make it easy on myself, right? But when I'm seeing that I have 4 terms, I know that I'm factoring by grouping. Is that kind of, all right. Oh gosh, now how do I get rid of all this writing? Top right? Go away. All right, let's see. Great. I don't know how to. I just move it. All right, here we go. Roots from, finding roots from a graph. Okay, let's look at this graph. I'm just going to move all this to like a trash center over here. Okay, let's look at this graph. Okay, so I see that my roots, roots. Did we talk about roots in the other video? Same thing as 0. I don't know why they call them roots, but you can call them x-intercepts, you can call them zeros, you can call them roots. We're all referring to the same thing. So this says, what is this asking? What are all the real solutions? So another real solutions, same thing, but I call it in the title finding roots. So we're just going to look at the graph. Let's see, -7, -5, -2. That's all you'd put in, right? I'm not going to do it because I'm going to move on to the next one. All right. Select equation from, okay, now this is taking it to the next level. This is, gosh, I wish I could just get rid of all this besides just moving it over. Click. Yeah, that's right. Click the whole thing. Yeah, it's just not letting me. Okay, it's okay. Pull it over there. All right, so with this, see that we have zeros. See, one of our zeros is here, and one of our zeros is here at 4. One's at 0 and one's at 4. Let me show you what to do with that. If my 0 is at 0, okay, or my root or my real solution's at 0, and my other solution or 0 is at 4, we're just going to work backwards from that. Where did that come from, right? This came from x minus 0. This came from x minus 4. Okay, now x minus 0, that's silly. We're just going to write that as just plain old x. So this right here, if we set these two things equal to 0, we would get our 2 zeros that we see here at 0 and at 4. All right, so let's see, is that one of our choices? Yep. So we're going to pick this one and get our green check. Do I have a question? Submit answer. No, thank you. I can't. Okay, I really should have learned this before I did this video. All right. Forget it. Go backwards. Okay. All right, let's do the next one. Is that the one we just did? All right, this is the most important part, and I got a bunch of crap all over the screen, but that's okay. You know what, I'm going to pause real quick and clean this up. Okay. All right, let's graph. Let's find our zeros first. Where are our zeros going to be? 0 and -7. Does everyone see? Is that we set x squared equal to 0 and we solved. So there's one of our zeros right there at 0. And then we set 3x plus 21 equal to 0. So that's -7. Okay. What about a y-intercept? Here's the thing. When our x-intercept is 0, that's our y-intercept too. Okay. Now, this is, what order polynomial is this? Because this is a little tricky. What order is this? Third. It's third because x squared times x is x cubed. What do those look like? What do the end behavior look like? So the left side goes down and the right side goes up. All right. So done plotting. Let's see how we're going to be able to do this. Okay. Draw. Am I supposed to draw it? Okay. Sketch a graph. Let's try. So we'll go here. Oh, go through that. And then at some point we'll, oh wait, we're going to need another, oh, we bounce at 0. Oh, redraw. All right, this is important. See the x squared? That means that we have multiplicity there, and it's an even multiplicity, so we're going to bounce off of that 0. We're going to bounce off of the x-intercept of 0. All right, let's see. All right, can you all do this? Woo! And then bounce off the 0. Woo! Okay, did I do what? Are you sure? I don't know. Did I hit, oh, woo, woo. Wow, that's not bad. Like we can do it we can graph with our fingers. That's not bad. Okay. Okay, so now it's going to give us a crazy graph, and it's going to ask us the information about it. All right, we can tell the degree is what? It's going down and then up, so it's going to have to be odd, right? Do you agree? Yeah. Okay. The leading coefficient has to be positive because it's going down and up. Okay, how many distinct real zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we agree with 6? Okay. Okay, here's the thing. Relative mins. That means we're going to ignore the end behavior because clearly the end behavior goes down to negative infinity. So how many relative mins do we have? We have one right here. Can you see my cursor? So we have one, that's a relative min. So there's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. So we should have 3 relative mins. All right, let's see if we get it right. Woo! I love that green check. All right, one last thing. I'm not asking if you have any questions, but hopefully. All right, fill in the form. Okay, what degree is this? Up, up. What degree is that? Even. Leading coefficient has to be positive since it's going up, up. Otherwise, it'd be down, down, right? There are how many distinct real zeros? It looks like 1, 2. Do you agree? Okay. Relative maxes. Ooh, they're giving us kind of a tricky one. I'm not sure if it's 1 or 0. Let's try. Does someone try a 1? It's 0. It's not. They're not giving us. That's like a flat kind of like a. So all right, let's do a 0. And yay, that's all your homework is. I mean, you have a homework assignment. I'm going to open up. All right, let me say bye to the people in the video. All right, bye and thanks for joining us. Okay.